अस्सलाम वालेकुम एंड हेलो टू एवरीवन हु हैज ट्यून्ड इनटू रेडियो लम्स। आज हम आपके लिए एक बड़ा बेहतरीन किस्म का इंटरव्यू लेकर आए हैं। इंटरव्यूई का नाम है मोहम्मद तैयब। ही इज़ प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ LSPA। इस पर्टिकुलर इंटरव्यू को आप तक लाने के लिए दोनों सोसाइटीज़ ने आपस में कोलैबोरेशन की है, रेडियो लम्स सोसाइटी ने, LSPA ने। तैयब का मैं आपको थोड़ा सा इंट्रो करवा दूँ, बाकी तो आप लोगों को सारी एक्साइटमेंट आपको पता चलेगी जब आप लोग डिटेल में इंटरव्यू देखेंगे। Tayyab has been a high achiever. He has been on Dean's Honor List for 2020-2021. Undergrad परसू कर रहे हैं इन BSc अकाउंटिंग एंड फाइनेंस। इसके अलावा रिसेंटली उनकी जो सक्सेस है जिसको सेलिब्रेट करने के लिए हमने ये इंटरव्यू कंडक्ट कर रहे हैं वो है ही हैज़ बीन ए टॉपर इन ACCA जो इन्होंने एग्ज़ाम दिए हैं दिसंबर 2021 में और नेशनल प्राइज़ इनको मिला है। सो बाकी डिटेल्स हम इनसे खुद पूछेंगे। इनसे हेलो हाई करते हैं, पूछते हैं। Tayyab, how are you?
Raga Shukar, I'm really good. First of all, thank you for inviting me here and giving me this opportunity. I really look forward to the interview and I really hope that people can learn one or two things from me.
Tayyab, we have lot of questions from you. सबसे पहले तो आप ये बताएं why you got into this accountancy, BS accounts and finance and then moving on to the ACCA, उसके ऊपर थोड़ा सा हमें बताइएगा।
So अगर इस पे बात किया so it's all stemmed down from my basic education. So in OA levels I was pure sciences student and I think most of our business students are pure sciences. So to be honest I had no intention of pursuing this career, but when I applied for my universities I didn't get any good acceptances even though I had good scores, and the acceptance I got was from LUMS. So I had a feeling that this path suits me more. As I had studied economics I realized that I had more interest into the business side of life instead of the academia side. So I got into LUMS. I studied for 1 year and I saw that finance is actually more interesting to me. It's something that I find worthwhile doing because it not only tells you about the world around it, it tells you how to live your life. And I really loved how the bigger concepts that are taught at a corporate level, how the managerial, how the accounting concept that are taught to be so big can also be applied to your own life at a smaller level, how you can budget for your own self, how you can help your own self run your family, run your business. So that what really got me interested and I decided to choose the career and choose my major in accounting and finance.
So you went into this BS accounts and finance, then why this professional accountancy? Why pursue this ACCA?
In my life, I have seen one thing that it's really hard for me to get interested into things. I just see an opportunity, I see, okay, this is happening, so why not, let's do it. That's what happened most in my life. When I enrolled here, I got to know about the awesome opportunity that LUMS gives to us. That is, if you're an ACF major, we can get exemptions to 9 out of 13 papers for ACCA. Means we only have to give and pay for the remaining 4. So I was like, it seems like a good opportunity. A lot of people came to me and said that it's not that good, it won't help you. But I was like that, even one thing at your resume or even another knowledge set that others do not have does put you at an advantage, does give you another exposure. So that's how I got into this professional accountancy and into the ACCA.
अच्छा Tayyab, share with us how easy or difficult it is for you to manage both of the educational जो परसू करें BS अकाउंट, बिकॉज लम्स का भी प्रेशर काफ़ी ज़्यादा होता है एंड देन ऑफ कोर्स ACCA उसके कोर्सेज और उनकी प्रिपरेशन, एग्जाम्स की प्रिपरेशन। सो गाइड अस कि उसके अंदर प्रिपरेशन जब आपने की है तो कितना स्ट्रेस होता है, कितनी डेडलाइंस मीट करनी होती हैं, कितना टाइम लगाना होता है स्टडी पर। तो आई थिंक आवर ऑडियंस वुड लाइक टू लिसन टू दिस एंड वॉच दिस।
दिस इज़ लाइक अ वेरी कॉमन क्वेश्चन। ये काफ़ी मेरे से पूछा गया कि हाउ लॉन्ग डिड यू स्टडी, किधर से पढ़ा, क्या ज़्यादा पढ़ा। तो the thing that I tell them is that एक तो it differs from person to person. For me, yes, it is difficult. One ACCA professional examination can be easily equivalent to 3 LUMS courses of 3 credit hours. So it's like 12 credit hour course for you that you have to finish and give in one exam. So that's obviously the difficulty does increase with that level. Just imagine the pass rate is 50%. The passing marks are 50% and only 50% of students mostly pass the exam. So that does show that it is difficult. But I think the one thing in it is consistency. If you are like study 1 week for the subject and then leave it for 1 month and then study again, then you're not gonna be able to, remember things that you're studying. You're gonna forget the rules and everything. So if you have to study consistently till your exam, it's like at least 1 month's consistent dedication that you have to study every day, separately 2 hours, at least one chapter. and memorize the concept. The one thing I realized that I really liked about ACCA prior to other subjects I have learned is that it's not about memorizing stuff. It's not about, fixing on the rules and numericals. I have studied accounting in LUMS and we had to do a lot of solved equation. In my ACCA's book of accounting, there were no equations throughout the chapters. They said, this is the principle that you are studying. Remember the principle. Think about the principle and think in regards to that. So I dedicated my time to thinking on the concepts, working my concepts down. So when the question comes, even if I don't know the working, I know the concept behind it and I can somewhat answer. And that, I think, I talk to a lot of people in LUMS and that is a problem here because our students are hardworking. But hardworking cannot be recognized or rewarded unless you know how to work smartly, because you have a lot of courses here and a lot of other pressure that you have. And if you continue to work hard in each course, you're not going to have time for anything else. So unless a person knows how to work smartly, he will have really difficulty in doing other things like ACC or other co-curriculum because he won't know how to manage time. But if you learn to study smartly and work smartly, it doesn't take that long. Like, if I am honest, it took me 1 month. I studied 1 month for each of my exam. I had a timeline, 1 month, every day, one chapter. Last 3-4 days, I just did the exams. That's all I studied. But there are some people with me who studied for like 3-4 months. And some had less marks than me, some had more marks. But then again, the effort, it all comes down to how you study and how efficient you are at picking the concepts.
अच्छा, एक बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग फैक्टर दैट आई वुड लाइक टू शेयर विद आवर लिसनर्स वो ये कि तैयब ना सिर्फ पढ़ाई में बड़े अच्छे हैं बल्कि ही इज़ ऑल्सो प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ LSPA विच इज़ LUMS सोसाइटी ऑफ प्रोफेशनल अकाउंटेंसी. सो आप उसके बारे में हमें बताइएगा कि विद योर स्टडीज़ एंड मैनेजिंग दिस सोसाइटी अफेयर्स, सो वो उस चीज़ को आप कैसे बैलेंस करते हैं?
I think it all comes down to what you see fun. Like, I find this fun, having to manage things, doing things where you are in power and you can, not in like tyrannical sense of power, but where you actually have the ability to do things, where you're not bounded by controls. So it's fun. Even if I'm studying for 4 hours late at night, I have some society's work, I'm like, okay, I can do that because I enjoy doing this. But on the other hand, if it was something that was like rigid, I have to follow a set routine, then I wouldn't have been able to do that. So that's my basic motivation. Other than that, some people have a habit of, doing things in a schedule, make a timeline. I'm going to do this today, do this tomorrow. I realize that problems occur without telling you. Someday you might have some task, tomorrow some others might come. So my rule was simple, that do the task when I feel like them. Even if it's my final tomorrow, I am not encouraging this to anyone though. Don't blame me. But sometimes I have my final, I won't study for it the night before because I'm like, my heart doesn't feel like studying. Even if I study for 4 hours, I'm not going to learn or remember anything in the morning. So I just let my heart and my mind decide that, okay, I want to work now. I will work. And when I work at that time, I do it relatively shorter. The reading that my friends take like 1.5 hours, 2 hours to read, I usually finish those like in half hour or 20 minutes and I'm like, okay, I'm done with the reading. So that's how I usually manage my time, by letting myself decide when I want to do work and doing it efficiently and quickly.
अच्छा, आई थिंक जो लोग इंटरव्यू सुन रहे होंगे दे वुड रियली एंजॉय दिस पर्टिकुलर टॉक विद तैयब, क्योंकि आमतौर पर हम सब पाकिस्तानी कौम का मसला ये है, जो हम स्टूडेंट्स होते हैं तो हम आखिरी 4-5 घंटे के अंदर सारी शॉर्ट टर्म मेमोरी जमा करके जाते हैं और अटेम्प्ट करते हैं. सो इट इज़ गुड टू सी दैट समवन मतलब अमंग अस इज़ लाइक दैट. और डेफिनेटली वो आपकी जो नॉलेज होती है वो ग्रेजुअली बिल्डअप होती है, रादर दैन मतलब वो आपने चार घंटे में इकट्ठे किए और देन द मेमोरी फेड्स अवे. तो अच्छा, मुझे एक और चीज़ बताइएगा, हम जब एजुकेशन भी परसू कर रहे होते हैं, देन आपने अपना दोनों BSP कर रहे हैं, राइजिंग सीनियर भी हैं, साथ में आप ACCA भी परसू कर रहे हैं, तो बिकॉज बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट्स भी हमें देख रहे हैं. सो रोल ऑफ योर मेंटोर्स, योर प्रोफेसर्स, योर पेरेंट्स, योर फेलोज, हाउ इम्पॉर्टेंट इज़ दैट फॉर a person to be successful in whatever he or she is aspiring to?
I think the most important roles for most people come down to their parents, because if someone can motivate you or give you energy, is your parents. And someone can demotivate you, it's also your parents. My father doesn't know about my field. He's a civil engineer. He's working in the government sector. He doesn't know anything like what's accounting, what's the future in it. He doesn't know. But I know one thing, that my father and my mother, they are supporting me in what I do. And there's a good reason to this, because I always tell this to my friend, and I do want to tell this to the people who are listening. If you're passionate in something and your parents are not approving, remember, you have to prove them. I didn't get to choose accounting and finance as a BSc because my father was like, do whatever you want. No. I showed them that, look, I have straight A's in my O levels. I have good grades in A levels. That's what you wanted. Now I can decide. I showed them that I have the energy. I can do the thing that you ask me to do. If you want grades, I can do that. But I have to do what I love. I have to follow my heart and follow my interest. And that's how they allow me to follow myself. I talk to my father. I tell him that I want to do startup. He hates it. He's like, we are not business people. We don't have money. We don't have investment. We are education people. But the reason he can't stop me is because all around the years, I have proven to him that I am worth the investment he has made and I can make my decisions. If I couldn't even get the grades which satisfy my parents, then obviously they will be against thinking that he won't be able to do it and he will quit it halfway. But also, GPA is not the only source of proving your parents. If you're doing something, you can always prove them. I have seen many people in LUMS who are doing their own startup and mashallah, they're quite good at it. They have earned a lot of profits through it, Amazon and also in Instagram businesses. They're good at it. And that's how they have proven their parents that yes, we can do our life properly. We can live it properly. So I think that's the biggest motivator, because the moment your parents start to doubt you, you won't be able to trust yourself because they are the people you trust the most. Second thing are the professors. There are some professors here, most of them, to be honest, each of them really talented, more than I can imagine. I remember I took this actuarial sciences course. I read the professor's portfolio on his first page of slide. He was like, certification, FSA, FPSA, FFSA, represented Pakistan's Society of Actuaries internationally for 5 years, Pakistan Society of Actuaries for 20 years, this business, in this work. I was like, my God, that man has so much experience. He has so much knowledge. And I used to love to just talk to him and ask him, sir, how can I go towards the actuarial side? Then there are professors who are in the board of directors in multinational companies, in big companies. Sit with them. They will teach you a lot. They will teach you experience that you do not have. You may have knowledge, but it's different from experience. They can tell you what the real world is like, and they can tell you on things you are missing about, and that's what I think the best part. But you got to be open to listening. You got to listen to what they have to say. And the final motivators are your friends. Always be sure to make good company and make company with the people who are like you. If you are not a party person and you are with party person, at a point you're gonna get annoyed. Not saying that any one of them is bad, but because there's not gonna be any resemblance between you and they're not gonna support you in things you do, you're not gonna support them in things they do. And if you're an encouraged person, if you're like into startups and want to talk about businesses, make friends who enjoy that. So they can boost you. I have friends with which I just sit down and I can talk for 4 hours straight. My very good friend Abdul Rahman Shamsi, he went with me to Turkey. He was in a different university. Even there, when we used to meet, we would be on a ferry. It would be a 4-hour long ride. We would constantly talk about how to set up business, what marketing techniques can we use. And we used to enjoy that. We loved that, how we were boosting each other's passion, how we were boosting my friends here. I would like to name like Bilal Chaudhary and Junaid. They like boost me. They like encourage me that you just do it. We will encourage you to our hearts. Have that support system, because your parents at home, they support you mentally and physically. They raised you. They are giving you motivation there. Your professors meet you sometimes. But your friends, they're going to be with you all the time.
Of course.
If you tell them an idea and the first thing they say to you is, yaar, ye to nahi chalega. You won't be able to do it because that's the first thought that's always going to stay in your mind. So make friends who support you and also support others. There should be not a person who doesn't support her. Be critical. Don't be like if anyone has it, because not ideas are smart. Obviously, I will acknowledge that not all ideas are always bound to work. So be sure to be critical. I'm not saying to be blindly supporting a person, that go for it. Be critical. Tell him that to amend this. Where do you think that the product is lacking? Where do you think his ideas are lacking? Support in that, and that's how I think people can do a lot more things. For ACCA, I had lots of support from my friends. They would always, whenever I had my result, they would always be with me in case I didn't make it. So that's the support that kept me motivated all day. They wouldn't disturb me when I was studying. They would often bring me food when I was in my room because exams were close and they were like, "Acha, hum khana leke aa gaye, chal aaja bahar baith ke kha lete hain." So make sure you are that person who supports each other. Make sure you find those person who support you.
परफेक्ट. तो यानी कि दोस्त ज़रूरी होते हैं.
Yep.
अच्छा, अब एक और चीज़ हमने देखी है that people who are like pursuing their undergrads और इस एज के अंदर, टीन्स के अंदर and even 20s के अंदर भी sometimes people get depressed because of certain reasons. They are not able to, ग्रेड्स का प्रेशर है, पढ़ाई का प्रेशर है, समटाइम्स मैंने देखा है आजकल के ज़माने में तो ट्यूशन फ़ी का भी बहुत सारा प्रेशर है. एंड देन ऑफ कोर्स आप जिस कंपनी के अंदर चले जाते हैं, इट ऑल्सो डिफाइंस हाउ यू आर गोइंग टू परसू योर स्टडीज़ इन नेक्स्ट 4 years, ख़ास तौर पर जो अंडर ग्रेड्स होते हैं. तो अभी तक की जो आपकी स्टोरी है उसके अंदर आपने वो सपोर्ट सिस्टम के ऊपर आपने बात की है, एंड अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह यू हैव गॉट दैट. लेकिन आप ऐसे स्टूडेंट्स जहाँ पे सपोर्ट सिस्टम शायद नहीं है, या इवन यू वुड हैव फेस्ड मैनी चैलेंजेस, तो वो उन चैलेंजेस के बारे में आई थिंक अगर हम बात करेंगे सो इट वुड ऐड मोर वैल्यू, बिकॉज पीपल हु आर लिसनिंग टू अस वुड गेट टू नो कि अच्छा ठीक है, प्रॉब्लम्स आते हैं, स्ट्रगल करनी पड़ती है, बट हाउ टू ओवरकम दैट.
अभी लाइक there are listeners listening, they might seem के okay बंदा है रेडियो लम्स में बैठा हुआ है, यार क्या बात है इसकी, इधर बैठा हुआ है, जिंदगी कितनी अच्छी होगी, पढ़ने में भी अच्छा है, पार्टी भी करता है, सब कुछ. तो ऐसी बात नहीं है. The people who are listening, I'm very much like you if I'm honest. I'm not like perfect in any case. I've seen my fair shares of failures that oftentimes I regretted them. But that's the thing I always say, don't ever forget your regrets, work on them. Make sure that the things that make you feel pain become your motivation. Don't let them stay pain. Don't let them hurt you. Remember them, amend them, and work on them. I have failed a lot of friendships. I have lost a lot of friendships. Sometime I couldn't pass some exams or some opportunity I want to go to. My most heartbreaking was that I had good SAT score, O-level result, and co-curriculum at international and national activities. I couldn't get any decent acceptances from abroad. So that was a big major hit for me. But at that I had a little faith, because I realized that my grades are not to prove to the universities that I am good for them. My grades and everything, they were for myself to prove that I am good. If what I do, that's the best I can. And I always use this line that I am the line that I use to motivate myself is that I am the best and the worst version of myself. Because I am the best person who I could have been compared to yesterday, but I am the worst compared to what I can be tomorrow. So that becomes my motivation. And yes, depression, it is a very serious issue. A lot of students facing it. And I have seen a lot of them fall victims to it in very worse ways and heard a lot of stories. So for those who are worrying about grades, exams, it's a relative system. At the end, someone has to get bad grades. But that is not necessary to define who you are. A good GPA will get you a job, but you will not maintain it. Because GPA doesn't let you stay in the job, your skills does. What you have learned does. If you're learning the course, if you're getting what they're saying, perfect. Second thing I would like to say is, if you think you're depressed, if you think you're having some serious problems, before trying to reach out to any friend, try to reach out to a proper therapist. Because I believe, obviously, your friends will try to help you, but they are also students. They might say things that might not be working as good as they think they are, or even might be working against you. So, a proper therapist, I have seen people go to them, I've seen how they help them, because obviously they are qualified. They have dealt with people facing issues like that. Go to them, talk to them. When you get a little bit better, talk to your friends. So at least you're not at your worst and talk to a friend and they say the wrong things to you. Don't take a risk. Talk to a proper therapist. Your mental health is most important. It is more important than your grades and your achievements. Because believe me, your parents want to see you smiling, not on loads of money.
Of course.
That's the first rule. Be happy. So, and second thing I realized is a very big issue. In LUMS, I think a lot of you and listeners would have seen people with startups, people earning money right now, people being self-dependent. You don't have to be that right now. If they are doing that, good for them. That was their timeline. Fix your timeline. Do not rush for financial independency. Do not, if your parents are sending you money every month, do not be ashamed of that. It is their happiness that they earned, that they are able to send you money. Don't torture yourself by overworking yourself days and nights working jobs. Don't do that. If they are giving you something out of happiness, accept it. Take it. Even the example that I always give on this is, even if I have money of myself, I have earned money, I have that. Every month I tell my father that, hey, it's new month. Where's the money? Where's the pocket money? Because I know that's what he earned. He served all his life for his family. And even if I dare to tell him that, Baba, मैं tuition पढ़ा रहा हूँ, straight up scold me on that. That's why your education is most important. Do not suffer. I will give you money. I will support you. So be on that. Do not rush for that. And for those who are having financial problems, obviously there are students who are working really hard. I would say that your friends are support. For the people whose friends are facing such issues, you are supposed to be their support system. Make sure that the finances they're earning are not because they're rushing for financial independence, but because they need to be their support, like helping them. Because obviously you can't help them financially. You can't take a person's whole finance onto you. And obviously you can't do their job for them. But you can support them mentally. You can encourage them. You can tell them that they're doing a great job. And there will be rewards after this for what they're doing. It will count. So support them and do not run for financial. And please, it's a big craze right now to be rich.
To be rich and to just own a startup, be a
Yes.
co-founder.
We are all students right now. Like a friend used to say that my father, when he was my age in college, he used to teach tuitions while doing his BSc and like send money to his daughter. It's different now. Education is different. The merit at that time was 76%. Right now it's 96%. It's nearly perfect right now. Things change. And the reason your father earned that much is not because for you to suffer and go to tuitions every day. He earned it so you can live peacefully and study peacefully without having the worries that he had. So take your time. Success comes at its own time. Do not rush for it. Do not run towards it. It will come towards you. Do not run towards money or it will run away.
वेरी गुड. अच्छा, वैसे लिसनर्स के लिए मैं एक बात शेयर करना चाहूँगी. देयर इज़ अ वेरी फेमस बुक, रिच डैड पुअर डैड. सो बिफोर यू जंप इनटू दिस game of startups and everything, do read that book. It's a very good book. You will definitely enjoy that, and then in this disciplined manner you would be able to pursue. और जैसे तैयब कह रहे हैं भाई, पहले थोड़ा पढ़ाई के ऊपर पहले थोड़ा सा इल्म हासिल कर लो and then jump into that wagon. अच्छा तैयब, आप मुझे बताओ, now that you are into this accountancy field और pursue करें और in a year or so you will be graduating also, आपके फ्यूचर प्लान्स क्या हैं? लाइक यू वांट टू परस्यू योर ग्रेजुएशन, यू वांट टू गो एंड फाइंड अ गुड जॉब, यू वांट टू गो अब्रॉड फॉर फर्दर स्टडीज़, क्या करना चाहते हैं आप आगे लाइफ में?
At this moment, if I have to say, I'm quite ambiguous, like what to do after this. It's a very big question for me, like इसके बाद क्या है? I am preparing to give my remaining 2 ACCA exams in December and also for the CFA first level 1 exam, because I'm like, I want to keep my options open so I can decide. But I have found some startup that I have really invested myself in. It's an idea that struck to me that I was like, this idea, I love it. I want to do that. I'm also working on that. So seeing how this year will travel out, if the startup, inshallah, obviously I would have to pour more than 1 year, but I will work on my startup for now. And if that, inshallah, goes good, I continue to work on it. Otherwise, there's always the option of pursuing masters, because education never goes wrong with you.
हाँ, but जो मैं समझी वो you have more of an entrepreneurial mindset rather than going for and hunting for 9 to 5 or 9 to 6 job.
Yep, absolutely not 9 to 5 jobs.
अच्छा, आई वुड ऑल्सो लाइक टू शेयर विद द ऑडियंस दैट हमने बड़ी एक्साइटमेंट क्रिएट की अपने इंस्टाग्राम पेज के ऊपर. रेडियो लम्स सोसाइटी ने भी एक स्टोरी लगाई दैट वी आर गोइंग टू इनवाइट तैयब, प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ LSPA, फॉर दिस इंटरव्यू, एंड देन same was reciprocated by LSPA also. So people actually have given very overwhelming like questions for you. So उसमें से कुछ तो मैंने during my interview I have tried to address them, लेकिन उसमें मुझे कुछ बड़े interesting questions मिले. So if you permit तो मैं आपसे वो पूछ सकती हूँ. मैं उसमें एक क्वेश्चन जो मुझे बड़ा अच्छा लगा वो ये कि आफ्टर योर सक्सेस, ऑफ कोर्स यू वर इन डीन्स ऑनर लिस्ट. उसमें कुछ लोगों ने क्वेश्चन किया है दैट what was the reaction of your parents and your support system, जिसके ऊपर आपने बात की अभी, your professors about this achievement. And एक क्वेश्चन के अंदर थोड़ा सा स्पाइसी इसलिए था, उन्होंने कहा कि क्या उनका बिहेवियर चेंज हुआ है towards you, now they are more like praising you or what?
इसमें मैंने भी कहा, I read this question, I was like, okay, but do they want to know that? Did people start to like, cherish me as a king or something or what something? So obviously, when I got my achievements and result, like my parents were happy, but my father, he always pushes me. He got to the Dean's Honors List ceremony and he was like, why are you sitting that behind? Where are the people in front of you? I'm like, Father, they're seniors. They sit in front of me for that reason. But then we were like, why are there people alongside you? Like, it is what it is. But then I was like, it makes sense. I can do better. So I just took it to heart. Like, he was happy. It's my father's thing. He doesn't show that he's proud in front of me. But whenever someone's call him, yeah, you know, my son, he just topped the exam. Yeah, you know, he got a Dean's Honor list. Yeah, you know, that happened. He's happy. I know that he's proud from his heart. But, you know, he can't express that. And my mother, she's like straight up really happy. She like, gets excited. She like prays, like शुक्राने के नफल दस्ती पढ़ेंगे और मुझे like she sent me congratulations सदका देंगी. But it's a general habit that I don't like to spread these things, because one thing I've understood, and I want everyone to remember this, because I've seen a lot of people do this. If someone is getting good grades or good things, the first thing they will say to them is कि हाँ यार इसका तो आ ही जाएगा. Like there's some kind of genius. No, the talent and genius, they don't last. If someone is getting good grade, if someone is doing good in this university, he's working hard for it. But people don't see that, and they just say that iska to aa hi jayega, iski baatein hain, iska aa jayega. And that really sticks with a lot of people I know, because they're like that, do they think that I'm just getting this without doing anything? So that's what I want to say, appreciate everyone's effort. And because of this reason, in the start, I didn't want to publish that I got ACCA's distinction in Pakistan. I didn't want to do that. My friend, he pushed me. He said, do it. My friend Bilal, he was like, do it. Isko publish kara. It's a big achievement. Karao. And my other friend, Areej, she was like, bro, you got a big achievement. Karao isko. So because of them, I did publish it. But generally, like my DHL certificate, my passing of ACCA exams, I don't, because I've seen it a lot. But after this, I think people's attitude only change if your attitude change. If you become on your high horses and be like, अब तो मैं बहुत बड़ी चीज़ हूँ, तब लोगों का attitude बदलता है. लेकिन मैंने यही सीखा है अपने बड़ों से कि no matter where you reach, अपने पाँव का ज़मीन पे ही रखने चाहिए. So just stay like the way I am. They congratulate me. They get really happy for me. And the next day we are on the same level we were.
अच्छा, मैं थोड़ा ना सॉफ्ट साइड पे इंटरव्यू को लेके जाना चाहूँगी. वो ये कि मैंने अभी आपका वो लिंक्डइन पे प्रोफाइल देख रही थी. सो ये अभी ना लीगो चैम्पियन,
Yes,
उसके बारे में आप बताएं. मतलब इट इज़ नॉट दैट कि हर वक्त पढ़ते रहते हैं. मतलब ही हैज़ बीन लाइक, इन्होंने लीगो खेली हुई.
That was my first proud moment, I think, in life. Like the proudest moment till that time. It was my A-levels, and we had a competition. It was called the Lego First League competition. In it, basically, like they had Lego robots and Lego systems. It's kind of like STEM, but the programming was easier for like A-level students. And I had a team in which I was the one working. But I was really invested in it. I like they were bricks and blocks. I would just put them together, do the task, and program how I wanted. And I used to spend day and night. I bought the whole table for the game, the robot game, to my home during the holidays. I had all the stuff there, and I would just stay in my room and play with Legos and like make things at moments I didn't need, because I was like, this is fun, I want to do it. And Alhamdulillah, in Pakistan we qualified and we went to UK, University of Bath, for the international competition, where we won the 3rd prize in core values. So that was my first problem, because my professor there of physics is a very strict but nice guy. He really encourages you, and he said it in front of the whole class that this man is a one-man army and he defeated everyone by himself. And that's like one of my proud moments, because that told me that if I put my heart into it, I can do it. And it was really fun. Like 130 teams in the international competition, 35 countries, all of them having their own Lego sets, robots, and having their cultural sets. हम भी चूड़ियाँ और मेहंदी ले गए थे. अच्छा. तो when people used to come, हम उनके मेहंदी लगाते थे, चूड़ियाँ देते थे, लड़कों को पठानी टोपी, और फिर बीच में they would do games like Lego games. So like that was fun. Do these things like मुझे ये याद नहीं है मैंने पिछले सेमेस्टर कोर्सेज कौन से पढ़े हैं, लेकिन अगर मुझसे कहा जाएगा कि O लेवल या A लेवल के स्टार्ट में तुमने लेगो कंपटीशन किया था, उसमें क्या क्या हुआ था, I can recall it to like every minute. So
do you believe कि इस तरह की जो स्पोर्ट्स हैं या कोई हॉबीज़ होनी चाहिए ताकि आपकी लाइफ के अंदर सिर्फ एक चीज़ के ऊपर लाइक कंटिन्यूसली स्ट्रेस ना हो?
Absolutely. Like कैम्ब्रिज की स्टडी थी, don't study for more than 30 minutes consistently, take a break. तो अगर पढ़ते रहेंगे ना एक चीज़ से आप बोर हो जाएंगे, भूल जाएगा. Have a hobby, play badminton, tennis, cricket. एक तो like you socialize during that, and you also like spend time outside. And like not only like sports, you can do anything you want. You play a guitar, you play a violin, you play any instrument, you like to sketch. Like I myself often do sketching. मेरा कभी दिल करेगा मैं I will spend like 3 to 4 hours just making a sketch and I will like mind's relaxed now. So do have hobbies, do have things, other things you do. Also, I have seen that a lot of people, they generally, do not have any hobby. So when you tell them that I have a lot of hobbies, they get, discouraged that I don't have something, I don't do anything, I'm just like hanging with friends. Hanging with friends, going out, or just doing whatever you do is also a hobby. What I'm saying is just don't study consistently and do other things. That can contain anything, even sleeping. Like, अगर दिल करे तो सो जाओ बेशक. दोस्त ना बैठ लिया, but definitely do have something else.
अच्छा, इसमें बड़ी आपने इंटरेस्टिंग बात की है. एक और क्वेश्चन मैं पूछना चाहूँगी. उसमें इन्होंने पूछा हुआ है कि डिड LSPA environment help you in any way in securing this achievement? और इसी से एक लिंक एक और था कि जो सब्जेक्ट्स पढ़ाए जाते हैं आपको आपके BS अकाउंट्स एंड फाइनेंस के अंदर, तो उसने कितना सपोर्ट किया आपको इन अंडरस्टैंडिंग द सब्जेक्ट्स जो आप कर रहे थे, जिनको आप एग्ज़ाम दे रहे थे?
So for the first part of the question, yes, LSPA did support me. It's an accounting society, so you have a lot of people who are doing accounting there. Often when I have some troubles getting some stuff in the course in my ACCA exams, like if I didn't understand any rule, I would just message one of my seniors, one of my directors at that time, that hey, do you know this? And he was like, yeah, you do it like this, or that's how you think about it. Because the senior I get, the more I realize that for now it is easier to grasp concept compared to when I was a freshman. So they used to help me out a lot. Like, I'm the same here. I'm like, if any one of you has any questions regarding ACCA exam, any of subject, anything, you can totally just message me and I will tell you all about it, anything you want to know. So LSP did provide a more, familiar and easy to approach environment, because it's difficult to, message strangers or LDF about it that, hey, does anyone know this? But it's easier if someone like, oh, he's in my society, he's my director, maybe I can ask him. So yeah, that did help me out a lot. And for the second part, yes, LUMS does make it easy, because the reason we are getting 9 exemptions is because those 9 papers are very close to our courses here. CFR 1, CFR 2 and those type of courses. So like the exam of strategic business reporting, its course content is like accurate to corporate financial responsibility 1 and CFR 2, just a little bit more in depth. So I had studied that, so it made me easier to study. And because I studied so many management courses, when I was studying strategic business leadership, I was like, ये भी पढ़ा हुआ है, ये भी पढ़ा हुआ है, ये भी पढ़ा हुआ है. Maslow's hierarchy of needs. हर कोर्स में अब तो पढ़ लिया. वो तो मैं देखा, मैंने कहा ये तो छोड़ ही दो, ये तो आ गई है अब तो. So it does help if you are like obviously for only ACS, because बाकी लोग वो courses नहीं पढ़ते, but for ACF, I think you can do it. It's just a little bit extra effort and you get an extra certification. So why not?
अच्छा, मुझे तो इस इंटरव्यू में बड़ा मज़ा आ रहा है. मेरा दिल चाह रहा है that this interview would continue, it should go on and on. लेकिन उसमें ये तैयब मतलब कुछ क्वेश्चंस भी हमने आपसे पूछ लिया, and I would really like to thank you for giving us time. और ऑडियंस को भी पता चल गया होगा, नॉर्मली एक परसेप्शन ये होती है कि भाई अकाउंटेंट है, बड़ा बोरिंग किस्म का इंसान होगा, ज़िंदगी में बस पढ़ाई के अलावा, अकाउंट्स के अलावा, बुक्स ऑफ अकाउंट्स मेंटेन करने के अलावा और कोई काम नहीं होगा. सो हेयर वी हैव तैयब, जिन्होंने अपनी एक्स्ट्रा करिकुलर एक्टिविटीज़ भी देखी, एक सोसाइटी के प्रेसिडेंट भी हैं, अब तक BS अपनी पढ़ाई भी कर रहे हैं, टाइम भी देते हैं अपने फ्रेंड्स को, अच्छे फ्रेंड्स भी बनाए हुए इन्होंने, और आप लोगों से अच्छी अच्छी बातें भी आप लोगों के लिए, बड़ी इंस्पिरेशन भी उन्होंने शेयर की है. सो होपफुली यू वुड हैव लव्ड दिस इंटरव्यू. एंड अगेन आई वुड लाइक टू थैंक बोथ द सोसाइटीज़, रेडियो लम्स सोसाइटी, LSPA. आप जाएँ, आप इनके पेजेस को लाइक करें, फॉलो करें, सब्सक्राइब करें, एंड होपफुली वी विल बी ब्रिंगिंग मोर एंड मोर inspiring stories and other interviews and other programs for you. So signing off, this is RJ Sammiya. Allah Hafiz.